Alright, so we're going to connect to chapter 3 Superstore. Right. TYD sample Superstore. Okay, since it has only one data table and that table is automatically loaded, okay, and say we want to know how many observations there are, so there are 9,426 rows, and we can look at the data here, and this is the data that we have used before, I think. So order ID and item, okay. So we have order ID, and let's look at order ID, describe order ID. So order ID has only 6,455 members, so the granularity is product name. All right, so order ID and product name, that's your granularity. Okay, so you have one record for each order ID and the product that's in that order. Okay, a given order may have more than one product in it. So we're going to look at the table. We're going to construct this table. So we've done this before. So product category and product subcategory. So just highlight and region. Okay, so we are selecting 3 dimensions and then sales. So control click and select all that. Okay. Now if you click show me, so it gives you, okay, so these are the options it's giving us. Okay, so the ones that are not, when you hover, if it doesn't show up, then that's not something that it is suggesting. Yeah. Right, we don't have enough appropriate fields for those charts. So just because it isn't show me doesn't mean that's the best possible visualization. It tells you what are the possibilities. Okay, with these dimensions and measures, okay, what are your options? That's all it said. Okay, so then you have to make a choice. And what I'm going to do is to select text table. Okay. And now we have the text table. For us to have a text table, we must have a measure. So the measure goes into, so sales goes into text. So how would you do this without going to show me? Show me is the easy way. So you just click the selected value. So you would do what? So you would do region, columns, product category, product subcategory, and then you will bring in sales to text. If you bring in sales to text, then that will give you the table. Okay. And of course, this is actually how we started the class, like 3 weeks ago. This is the first visualization we did, I think. Maybe I don't know. And then you can add the totals. So you have row grand totals and so on. Okay. Column grand totals. All subtotals. Right. Okay. Now if you click the show me button again, then it will close. So that's good. All right. So the next we're going to do so there is profit here, and we want to create a new calculated field for profit percentage and use profit percentage to highlight this table. So right now the table is just sales, right? What is the actual sales? we don't have any filters, but so it's the total of all the sales that we have had. Okay. Suppose we want to highlight this table with the profit margin. Okay. Total sales is here. Now, profit margin we want as a percentage of sales, right? So how do we do that? So we have to now calculate the profit percentage. We have profit here, we have sales. So if you want profit as a percentage of sales, okay, we have to create a new field, a calculated field. How do we do calculated field? Analysis, create calculated field. Right? Now, what we want here, we want profit percentage, right? So, for a given level of detail, we want all the profits to be added up, and then you want to divide that sum of profit by all the sales added up for the same level of detail. So by level of detail, what do we mean? So we have product category, product subcategory, and region. So a particular cell here, so the level of detail comes down to product category, subcategory, and region. So in that intersection, we want all the sales to be summed up, all the profits to be summed up, and we want a ratio. So that's what this is going to do. So we start with sum of profit, right? We want numerator to be profit divided by sum of sales. Okay. Now verify that the calculation is valid. So for at the level of detail, the computation, this is the computation that will happen, which will give you the profit percentage for that level of detail. Okay, which will be, in this case, it is, suppose if you take the product subcategory out, then you'll have product category and region. So that would be the level of detail, and at that level of detail, the computation will happen. Okay. Now I bring in the profit percentage into color. All right, so now the values are now highlighted by color with that color scheme. Okay. But usually this is not a good presentation because so it's better to have the background having the color, okay, and the number in the foreground instead of the number itself being colored, right? So for that you have to change the mark to square. So when you change the mark to square, then what happens is that the background is the color, okay, and of course you can go and edit the colors if you like. So remember what I did was created the table, and then we used a measure in the color shelf, right? The color card. That only converted the numbers to the corresponding color. We wanted the color to go to the background, and we do that by changing the mark type from automatic to square. Okay, now if you want to change the color, like if you want the negative to be red, right? So you want more contrast and everything, so you can go and edit the colors and change it, play with it. There are many possibilities, so you can do that. Okay. So this is how you get highlight table. So if you look at page 97, at the top right you have highlight table.